So today's video is designed for those businesses who have perhaps hit a bit of a ceiling in terms of their revenue. They feel like they've hit a barrier, or perhaps you're starting fresh and you're starting a new business and you want to make sure that you are successful from the get-go and make as big a success of this as you possibly can. And I'm willing to bet that if you are in either of those situations, then you've all known someone who has kind of started a business and it's kind of gone nowhere. And you don't really know why, and neither do they. But you know that you don't want that to happen to you too. I'm going to share with you the secrets that I see coming through from companies who have made a success of it. And I'm going to share with you the things that I do in my business that have made it successful too. And hopefully, if you find something in here that's useful and helpful, then you can create the kind of business that gives you the kind of freedom that you see all the time in pictures on Instagram. If you believe statistics, a whopping 20% of businesses are going to fail in their first 12 months. And if you do manage to get through those first 12 precarious months, a whopping 60% of them are going to fail in the first 3 years. This means that roughly only 40% of businesses actually make it into the long term. So what is it that they know that others don't that helps them to reach that elusive 40% club? I'm in the privileged position where I get to not only run my own business, but I get to help and guide other people in the running of theirs. I can say, hand on heart, that there are some common themes running amongst those 40% of people who survive. Even though there are some common themes, they have all trodden their own path. They all have their own experiences, and what works for some may not necessarily work for others. For every business owner, it is a journey of trial and error, failure, tough times, error, poor decisions, creative thinking, fun, and enjoyment. So I'm going to share with you today some of the more common things that make it successful for them. Most focused business owners always start with a really clear strategy and vision in mind. This article from Forbes defines the vision to be the who, what, and where of a business. And this article from Harvard Business Review goes on to say that the vision provides motivation through inspiration and is a key element in why people should get excited about coming to work. It should provide an inspiring portrait of what it will look like and feel like to achieve the organization's mission and goals. To my mind, the vision of a business changes as you grow and evolve as a business owner. It will continue to morph as you discover different ways of doing things, and it will adapt to the different goals and changes that you have as your business journey develops. For me personally, I find that the vision comes before the strategy. After all, without the vision, how can we create a strategy that will get us there? Strategy is a lot more tangible than the vision, and to my mind is the how in terms of how we are going to get there. Don't just take my word for it. This article from the Harvard Business School defines strategy to be the initiatives a company pursues to create value for its organization and its stakeholders. Strategy can be broken down into two main camps. Firstly, long-term, secondly, short-term strategies. I think of short-term strategies as the rungs on a ladder that get us to the ultimate goal being the long-term strategy, which is working towards our vision. You need to be crystal clear about your vision, otherwise the strategy becomes scattered and unfocused and you don't actually end up achieving anything. Ultimately, it means that achieving your vision becomes that much harder. And look, if I'm honest, I find clients need a lot of help in this area. They will often have a bit of an idea around what it is they want to achieve, but it's unlikely that it'll be clear enough for us to actually be able to create a tangible strategy around it. So often we'll spend somewhere between half and a full day working with clients to actually really hone in on and become crystal clear about this vision. From here, we can start to create the short-term strategies that will actually help to get us there. For example, you might have a vision that says you want to become the largest architectural firm in your area. What revenue does that mean you want? What lifestyle will that give you? Who will you employ? What type of work will you be designing? You really need to be able to feel and see this vision clearly because after all, it is a vision. The long-term strategy that we would create around this then is how we would go about achieving this vision. Then from there, we're going to start to develop short-term strategies on how we're going to achieve this. So we would be generating $20 million a year in revenue, designing commercial and residential property for developers. Once a business has really clarified its vision and strategy, it will turn its attention to its market that it operates in. It will know its market that well that it will know what its market wants before its market actually knows it wants it. It's about knowing their likes, dislikes, what they want from your product, what they don't want from your product, what they are prepared to pay for it, what they aren't, what their favorite color is, how many children they have, are they married. The more you know about your market, the easier it is to give them what they want, which ultimately is what's going to make you money. Again, this is an area where many clients actually struggle, and it really comes down to one thing, and it's really not that big a thing. It's pure and simply shyness, or in modern parlance, fear. They are afraid to ask, afraid to look stupid, afraid of what they might be told, simply too shy to stand up and ask a complete stranger the question. Nobody said this journey was going to be easy. And sometimes we have to push ourselves to do what everybody else won't do in an effort to get ahead. Generally speaking, most people are gratified simply to be asked, so they are more than happy to answer your questions, so ask away. Before I go on to the next thing about what makes a business successful, if you have learned one useful thing in this video, perhaps you would consider going over and clicking the thumbs up button. If you have learned two useful things in this video, perhaps you would consider subscribing to the channel and helping small channels like this one to continue to make great content for you. Now we have that out of the way. At this point in time, a successful business will start to think about finances. This is a several-pronged attack. They will be looking at everything they need to do to set up the business. So this includes things like research and development, costs to run the business, setup costs, proposed marketing spend, break-even point, profit margin and return on investment, and anything else that they might find particularly useful. They're going to also look at what their pricing is. That is, they're going to look at the pricing they're going to charge in order to make a profit, to make their revenue goals, and the return on investment that they have calculated. And lastly, they will look at the physical practicality of managing their finances. So this means, how are they going to manage the actual cash that comes in the door? So we're talking about cash flow management. How are they going to make sure that they have enough cash at their disposal at any given time in order to make their costs? We are frequently called in at this stage in the game to help out with some modeling. And by that, what I mean is we run scenarios. So we look at different scenarios around different price points. We look at different scenarios around different revenue goals. We will help them look at their costing. This gives them the information that they need to make fundamental decisions about the business. It also helps a more mature business decide on what they're going to do next. We are less often called in to help with cash flow management unless it becomes a problem. However, this is what I do in my business to make sure we never have a shortfall. We have several different bank accounts that we use for different things. So for example, we have an income account which receives all the money from clients when they pay our fees. From here, we transfer the GST component into a tax account. Then we allocate a set percentage to a profit account and an owner's compensation account, and again into the tax account. We also allocate PAYG and super into the tax account, so it's ready for when we have to lodge our BAS forms. And anything that's left goes into an operating expenses account, which is where all the spending money comes from. So we have 5 bank accounts in total. It works, it guarantees we make a profit, and we always have enough cash to pay for everything that we need when we need it. Next on the list is a business will focus heavily on customer service. They understand that without their customers or clients, they have nothing. They listen to them, they ask them what they think, they ask them what they want, and then they act on it. They understand what their expectations are, so they strive to exceed them. It's pretty simple, but is often overlooked in amongst everything else that's going on. Marketing strategically is also important, and it's next on the list of things to look at from a successful business. Getting your message out there in the right way to the right people at the right time is imperative towards making your business a success. It will skyrocket your growth without wasting your time on what I would like to call as tire kickers. That is, people who are not the right fit for your business. The last word I have to say today is about resilience. Being in business for yourself can be extremely rewarding, but it is also an incredibly lonely journey that can take a serious amount of time and effort. Being persistent and being clear around what your vision is and what the goals are will keep you going during those times where you're finding it tough and difficult. But ultimately, those tough and difficult times are what keep us going, and they teach us the greatest lessons. Thank you for watching. I'll leave you with this video to watch next, and I will catch you in the next one.